Greetings, fellow Gothamites. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And we're back to cover Season 5, Episode 6 of Fox's retelling of the Dark Knight mythology. 13 Stitches. So join us as we venture into Batman's birthplace.
And explore Gotham.
Woo! That's right, Dragon. We are back. We are back after a 1-week hiatus that the show went on, kind of randomly. I gotta tell you, man, I'm really enjoying Season 5 so far. This episode was a treat. This episode wasn't exactly like the most tight episode from a storytelling perspective, Dragon. But I got to admit, this episode had like just a lot of what we love about this show. Like it had some really great Bullock moments. It had some, it had like, I love the chemistry between like the unexpected characters, like the Gordon and Enigma, and then the Penguin and Selena. I love that kind of the odd couple kind of pairings in this episode. I got to tell you, man, like I said, it's not the tightest episode in terms of narrative structure, but beyond that, I had a ton of fun with this. He did.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, I like this one. This one's more of a plot one. It's a good plot one, but it's again, this one isn't.
You know what's funny, Dragon, is that I feel kind of the opposite way. To me, this is more just kind of like a fun, like let's just go balls out and have some fun. And yeah, there's plot stuff in it, but I just felt like it was just kind of like a bananas. Like there was some stuff in here where I was like, I don't know why I'm watching this, but it's entertaining as hell.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a mix of both of that, Tiki. What I'm saying is, it's not like an episode that's like it's not thematically really linked to anything. And 13 Stitches, again, it's not quite. I mean, there's stitches in this episode. 13. Well, I'm not sure why 13.
Oh, that was a lame title. I'll give you that much.
Point being, and here's the thing. In the recap, they used they used the stitches bit from the end. She had to think, the knife went in there. So I don't know if that's just recapping Jeremiah faked his death, or to recap the whole spy of the episode called Stitches. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But all the same, I mean, that's the thing. This episode to me, when I say plot, I mean this felt like kind of the fun of No Man's Land. We have all these these mismatch of characters kind of intermingling, while we're moving the plot into place for, I think, the big kind of the big treat that's going to be what I hope to be next week's episode. But in the meantime, this episode it's getting the job done. I'm just saying it's not quite like a huge standout that I'm kind of awaiting, or that we've kind of started off with at the beginning of the season. And we've been consistently. I think we haven't had like a stinker or a clunker at all this season. Really good this season. It's just like, I don't know. This one was just like it was fun. I'm saying it's fun without kind of the big like. Kind of awe-strucking fun. I'm really kind of getting excited for.
I got to tell you, Dragon, I'm probably higher on this one than you are, generally speaking.
Oh, it's a good episode.
No, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying I really, really enjoy it. Like I really had a good time. This might be like my top 2 or 3 of the. It's definitely in the upper half of the 6 episodes we've gotten so far for me.
I love I really love thematic stuff. This one does too. Basically, let me put it this way. I love the third act of this episode so much. The third act of this episode is really great. A lot of really great stuff in the third act. And also some big thematic stuff with Jim Gordon I really love. So we'll get there.
Oh, yeah. You know what else I love, Dragon?
What else do you love, Tiki?
I love this thumbnail.
I love Barbara in this image, by the way. Look at her.
Dragon, that's the thing. Literally everyone in this image cracks me up. All 4 of them. Barbara's just like, yeah, get the job done. And then Alfred's like, that's right, mate. Make him hurt a little. And then Lucius is just like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And then of course Enigma's just like, potatoes.
See, I didn't have that read on it at all, Tiki. My read on the images, just kind of looking at
what?
My read is it's just very monotonous and mundane. They're all just like, it's always like the kid to get like a lice check or something. That's what it kind of feels like. Maybe like Enigma's just kind of waiting there. Barbara's just like, can we get done with this already? And Alfred's like, yeah, come on.
I think Alfred's my favorite.
Yeah, Alfred's just like, why am I here?
Exactly. Alfred feels so out of place in this image.
I don't even know Nigma. Really, he does. I mean, of all the people here, he's the one who knows Nigma the least. He's just like, why am I here?
That's what cracked me up as soon as I saw this. All right. Anyways. Oh
Right,
man.
all that said.
Fun times. All right.
Just to kind of cite Winter Ives in the comments here, says, I love whenever there are silly moments. Makes it so much more entertaining. And yeah, the silly moments are quite remarkable in Gotham when they arise.
You know what? And that's the thing, Dragon. I feel like that's why I'm so high on this episode, and I'm glad that was brought up, is that I feel like this episode is just chock full of like very, very, very on brand Gotham silly moments.
Yeah.
And that's what I ate it up, man. I ate it up like candy.
All right, so let's dive right into
it. Okay. So really great cold open, honestly.
Yeah, really well shot. We have Jim on his own in No Man's Land. Again, this is the thing we've been kind of teasing up for the season. Remember, Jim alone in No Man's Land is a very dangerous thing. We have him running through No Man's Land, being chased by the Riddler, which is where unarmed, which is how the last episode ended. So we're kind of picking up pretty much directly where I left off.
Oh,
just really good running shots through a desolate kind of again No Man's Landian Gotham. It's really cool. And we have and basically Nigma. So again, just to preface it, because again, just in case it's been a week, so in case anyone's a little fuzzy on it. So Nigma, we revealed.
Sorry.
So we revealed that Nigma, he has a chip in his brain, which basically means Hugo Strange put a chip in his brain that he's being controlled by Walker, the lady who we thought was kind of our government, savior. And of course, she's Eduardo's working for, and basically Eduardo and Walker, they're kind of there are bad guys for the season. Of course, also in case anyone's curious, I'll bring it up a little bit later on. Always Eduardo's in bed with our bad guys, so to speak here. So told Nigma to give chase, find Gordon, and kill him. Because again, he's like the only one who knows some bad's going on here, so they can kind of take over Gotham essentially. So anyway, so Nigma. We find Nigma's blackout mode. This is what his blackout mode's like, and I like that even Nigma in blackout mode, his ego's basically he's kind of a really sedated version of the ego. It's the ego with just he's really driven and kind of more menacing than he's ever been before. It's basically kind of saying, Jim, there's no way.
Your chances of survival are astronomically low, James.
Yeah, just very to the point. It's like basically it's a mellow version of the ego. The ego's not about like saying, "Oh, I'm so much smarter than you." It's just saying you're not going to like mathematically you are not going to survive this. Just very to the point, a little bit more simple. It's kind of funny. All right, so what happens?
Let's see. They fight, and then I believe they crash into an ambulance or something, right?
Jim. Okay, so here's what happens. So Jim, he's avoiding fire from even Nigma. Oh yeah, Nigma has Jim's gun. I completely forgot about that. So Nigma's taking shots at him, and Jim jumps over the hood of a car, and basically he gets nicked in the neck by a ricochet or kind of a bullet kind of grazing him. So Jim has a neck wound. He's trying to patch it up in an ambulance while he's on the run, and then Nigma kind of springs up at him and attacks him.
Mm-hmm.
As he does that, of course, then we have this really awesome. I love this moment, by the way. I love what Jim does here. Where basically Jim, by the way, sorry, speaking of Jim, before I forget about this, Ben McKenzie directed this episode. That's what I wanted to.
Oh yeah, nice.
Oh, Ben McKenzie, he's written and directed episodes. In this case, he has a really good visual style. I love it when Ben McKenzie gets to play because last time big notable example was the Ra's al Ghul episode of season 4, where season 3 we introduced the shaman, then he did the Ra's al Ghul episode. Those are the first 2 he directed, I think. So that gives us that opening we're talking about here. So again, it's really well shot, is what I'm getting at.
Oh.
Anyway, so basically Nigma's strangling the life out of Jim. Again, it's a really kind of scary bit with the Riddler. Of all characters, the Riddler. I haven't seen a Riddler intimidating since the Telltale game. So, so Jim's being strangled. Basically, he uses, and I kind of knew where this was going. I was like, yes. He grabs the EKG, the defibrillator paddles, and he charges it. Hopefully not high. He charges it a little bit, just kind of flips it on, and he basically shocks the crap out of Enigma's head, knocking him out, which shorts out the chip.
Yeah. So I like how the open is just kind of short, sweet, and to the point.
That's a great cold open. We just shocked Enigma in the head.
All right, so we cut back right to Penguin and Drake. This is like a very Terry Gilliam-esque shot. Do you agree?
Yeah, and again, it's Mackenzie having
Where
fun.
Penguin is, Penguin's kind of he just like walks up to the camera, and then we kind of get like a little bit of a fisheye lens going on.
Yeah, we track the dog. The dog's going to the vault. It's a really well played sequence. It's kind of well staged sequence. Where so Edward the dog sees someone's in the vault downstairs, which we saw the vault in the previous episode. Penguin's just getting ready to make the move from Gotham, and he has like all of his riches and everything. He's going to basically use the fences.
This is like Penguin's equivalent to Scrooge McDuck's money bin.
Pretty much. So basically, long story short, Penguin finds an intruder stealing from him, and the intruder is Magpie. And I called this, by the way.
Yeah, you did. And what I really like about this scene is it's basically a joke. It's literally a joke because when she first shows up, the audience is just thinking like, "Who the hell is this?" And then literally the punchline of this whole scene is Robin Lord Taylor just screaming, "Who the hell was that?" I love that, Dragon. I love how Robin Lord Taylor just like completely just voices the thought process of the audience in this moment.
Which is a bit that it's so great to have that in like season 5, like the last season. Let's just call it out at this point. Let's just not be subtle about it. Let's not play
It's like, yeah, folks, we're introducing like a really ridiculous, like, C grade level comic book character at the end game here. It's like, let's just call it like it is. All right. It's like, who the hell is this person? Who's this new player on the board?
And believe me when I say Tiki, Magpie is absolutely like a C grade. Basically, she's such an obscure C grade villain. Tiki, so much. Let me tell you how much of a C grade villain Magpie is.
Oh, God.
The memorable thing about Magpie, not counting Beware the Batman, which I'll talk about in a second here. The most so obscure, famously before Beware the Batman, her most memorable thing was that in the Superman Batman story. There's this bit of dialogue. It's just dialogue. She's not even in it, man. It's just this bit of dialogue between Batman and Superman, where like they're kind of bonding as Batman's helping an injured Superman through the sewer. He says, I had an encounter with Magpie. It reminds me when I had an encounter with Magpie a while back. It says, she died. Are you sure? Yes. Like reasonably sure. Like basically, again, like just talking about her, like a Grim, like talking about her deaths for a moment. Like that's the most I got. It's about her death.
Wow, that is saying something.
And basically, and again, this is how I recognize it was Magpie, because her design with the white wig and everything. Here's the thing: she used to have in the comics, she has a really ridiculous design, which Beware the Batman redesign. I'm familiar, and they use the redesign, where she's basically.
Well, now we know what happened to Vivian after kidding.
Oh God!
The dark road that character went down.
Oh jeez.
The plans that don't involve the Mr. Rogers-esque character.
All right. Magpie had like a spiky punk mohawk hairstyle with like these giant sunglasses, and then they redesigned her and Beware the Batman to have like kind of a more feathery bird-like gimmick, and she wore this white wig.
Mm-hmm.
And also voiced by Grey DeLisle, which never hurts.
Yep.
Point being, so it's kind of neat to say Magpie, and again, she's pretty on the money because Magpie's whole shtick, at least the way Grey DeLisle played her, and again, Magpie's such an obscure character, I know very little about her aside from that big death moment. But Magpie, her whole shtick seems to be she's like a bird, the magpie bird. She's all about shiny things, like shiny shine. It's her catchphrase. In this case,
my God, wow. Yeah, I gotta tell you, Dragon, the dialogue that this character spews in this episode is just absolutely ridiculous, but the show completely calls it on how ridiculous it is. So
and Tiki, that's absolutely how she speaks. I can attest to it.
Yeah.
Great having these great lines. Again, like seriously, the Magpie and Beware the Batman's excellent. If you even remotely like this, you're gonna love what they did with her there. She's
well, you know what, Dragon? I might just watch Beware the Batman because I have the DC streaming service.
Right.
That I'm not going to promote because we're not technically sponsored by them.
Right. Well, a guy can dream, can't he?
Right.
Anyway, so the point is, a magpie says the thing's all pretty and shiny, which of course usually means valuable. So,
shiny.
Oh God. Okay, so anyway, so magpie, she's something particular has caught her eye. Do you remember what that item is?
It is. like a jewel of some kind, right?
Rutherford diamond.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The Rutherford diamond, she finds, and she also, this is hilarious too in the dialogue, because again, Magpie's just balls to the walls crazy. That's the gag. So she names it Charlotte. The penguin saying, "What are you doing with the Rutherford diamond?" Says, "It's Charlotte." Its name is Charlotte. And then, of course, we have like, so again, kind of the whole dual kind of language thing with her. Says boom boom, as basically she reveals a second identical diamond, which is rigged to blow, rigged to explode. And here's the ridiculous thing to me with the signature. Again, apparently, again, she's crazy as a fox, yet she's so good that she can make a replica item that is designed to blow up for what reason? Again, if you want to steal it, why make it look like an identical thing to it if it's just going to blow up? What's the point?
Right, right.
Come on, Magpie. I don't know. It's just, basically, that's kind of the weird added thing they did to her, but it's kind of fun and crazy. I don't know. It's just
Well,
kind of
like I said, Dragon, it's like we don't really need it. But you know what? At this point, I feel like it's Gotham embracing his craziness, and that's kind of generally speaking what I love about the episode in general. So, you
and
know,
also, real quick, Winter Ives. I'm sorry, you were saying?
no, I just said I'm on board for it.
Yeah, Winter Ives. I remember Winter Ives. I think I also told him about the Beware the Batman thing with Magpie, where Winter Ives is. I absolutely love the Magpie stuff. She might be in my top 5 list of favorite characters. I think for the show, but you never know. But yeah, it's neat. And also, it's with this scene, Penguin had like a little line about he's killed all the thieves. So presumably he amassed. It's like a little line that kind of paints a picture here, Tiki, that the Penguin amassed his fortune by so underhanded when you think about it. It's just so Penguin. He hired thieves to steal all this valuable stuff that, again, is useless on Gotham right now. But again, if he were to make it to the mainland, he could sell for big bucks and kind of amass a fortune elsewhere. And that is, he's killed all the thieves. Again, he hires them just to kill them. Just no, again, like usually there's honor among thieves in the Penguin's case. Well, more honor among supervillains than thieves these days. All right, so okay, so then of course we have the "Who was that?"
I love that.
All right, so then Enigma wakes up. Jim has a gun trained on him, asking, basically, to summarize a little bit here, Enigma's asking about his actions. We have this really funny bit where he says, "You just tried to kill me." "Oh, is that all?" It just like brushes off. Yeah, I just tried to kill me. It's like a typical Tuesday for me. We're all good. We're all stocked up here. We're all good. So, so then basically, of course, Enigma kind of fills Jim in on like, well, you used the defibrillator. Used the defibrillator on me, which means it kind of shorted me out. And of course, he basically reveals that he. So I'm jumping ahead to a line later on. The point is, the defibrillator short circuited the chip. Enigma needs answers, and as does Jim. Well, specifically, Jim needs answers. So he needs the evidence in Enigma's head. So he's coming with Jim to the GCPD.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Meanwhile, Delta Force at the GCPD, they're just populating the place at this point. Good visual little cue that we see they're settling in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And by the way, I gotta tell you, they're kind of obvious jerks. It just kind of occurred to me while I was watching the episode. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Aren't you guys supposed to be winning over the people and just pretending to be like
right. That whole idea kind of went out the window in one episode.
Like they were like, again, bear in mind, again, it's really economic with the times. I'm glad we didn't like draw it out, but by the same token, it seems like, guys, aren't you even going to try? You're acting like mercenaries, not soldiers. Come on. At least give it a shot. Give it a try. So, importantly, and I love this, I love how Bruce picks up on this. Again, Bruce being, kind of the world's greatest detective in training. Bruce is kind of picking up on these details. That, yeah, something's not right here. Again, anyone in Gotham wouldn't notice this, but Bruce does.
Well, to be fair, this time it's more Alfred that gets to do the detective work, which I really liked.
I mean, this is great, team. What I love about this, it's a classic Batman Alfred scene where this is the way these scenes are always played. And you've seen the animated series or a number of episodes with this, where it's a classic scene where Batman's trying to figure something out. Alfred says something kind of butlery, where he basically makes an observation that's just kind of a little casual, and then Batman kind of infers, "Yeah, you're right, and here's why." That's kind of how those scenes go. That's what plays out here.
Exactly.
Or basically, Alfred says, "Oh, look, we have look at this." He's asking about Selena, kind of an unrelated matter, and he's basically giving him the old "Oh, it's you'll be all right, be all right, Master Bruce." She'll just give her time. It's, she was on her own path that way anyway. The whole so there's a bunch of fish in the sea talk. Anyway, so as that's happening, Bruce says, "No, it's not what I'm talking about." He sees these people need food and need food and medicine, not more guns. Something's up.
Mm.
Like, why do we have more soldiers with guns here, yet no relief? And doesn't that raise like a red flag to you? And then Alfred, here's where Alfred pulls some detective work, or Alfred, who has a military background, he notices the tattoo on these guys, which is God, it's the band of Tiki. What is it? It's Born of Blood, right? It's Born of Blood tattoo. That's what it's called.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
The Born of Blood tattoo, which is very interesting and very indicative of kind of the big reveal later on, which is cool. The Born of Blood, Alpha recognizes as kind of a mercenary. It's kind of a mercenary group that has a reputation of like leading coups and assassinations, so on and so forth. So these guys are bad news, is what Alfred's saying. So Bruce,
You know what, Dragon? I kind of feel like a mercenary group that is like specifically known for like leading coups and doing underhanded shit like that. It should be like literally branding themselves. I don't know. What do you think? Doesn't that kind of feel like it goes against the whole idea of being like a covert operation?
assassinations, they can get away with that, but with coups, that's when we get into messy territory with coups. To be fair,
I like that we gave Alfred some detective stuff to do. I like that, but it kind of came at the expense of like, man, these guys really are kind of sloppy about their profession.
to be fair, 2 points. To be fair, one, they could always just wear long sleeves.
That's true.
Secondly, I don't think again, assuming they work fast, and again, given this episode,
But if they
fast.
wear long sleeves, they're not really committed to it because they're just kind of walking around in t-shirts in this episode.
Fair point. But bear in mind, again, they're really underestimating Gotham in this one. They're really underestimating kind of the city of Gotham. And again, presumably, the other point I would make is that they work remarkably fast because essentially in 2 days they lead a coup essentially. So again, they work really fast. Who's going to notice in 2 days?
All right, fair point. Fair point.
Probably going to be dead before they can ask. Wait a minute. Anyway, so Bruce really awesomely here kind of walks up to him and he questions the when should we expect the next supply shipment? And Captain Gordon, where is he? And they're asking him. They're saying Eduardo is looking for him, unless you know where we can find him. Very suspiciously, by the way. These guys aren't the sharpest tools in the shed, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have this great line of Bruce here says, "Well, logically, he'd come back here, unless he can't." It's like, oh boy, I love Bruce. I love Bruce kind of coming up to these mercenary guys. I don't know, it's just kind of neat. Then our mercs here, they insist that he and Alfred wait
right,
in a back.
I love the way that this is set up. It's just like, by the way, we have this like fucking VIP waiting room for you. Like,
Bruce has they've seen the GCPD. They always got the VIP treatment.
I mean, didn't that seem like a little bit silly, Dragon? Like, wasn't there a more shorthanded way to say that?
Well, it seems like they're trying like a really sloppy customer service approach. Like,
that's what I'm saying. It's like to me, I just like that's what we're saying. It's like, they're almost like half-heartedly still going along with like, oh yeah, we're the good guys. But instead it's just like, oh, by the way, we've got we've got a fucking deli spread, like we've got like a TV that's streaming Hulu and Netflix, we'll set you up. You want Smash Brothers? We got Smash Brothers.
Right. So then,
right, I'm going off on a tangent here, but like you get my amusement, right?
So Bruce and Alfred, they're led to this really cushy backroom area they're talking about. As they're being led, we have this awesome. As they're being led, there we have this really awesome hallway fight with Bruce and Alfred kind of teaming up, and you're taking names, and it's really cool as they're fighting the mercenaries in this closed space. It's a really good scene. And here's that gets me about it. They have this really awesome kind of back-to-back fighting scene. And then, of course, at the end of it, it's Bruce saying, "We need to find Jim." Like, yeah, that's my Batman right there. Yeah, it's Mizzou's doing Batman. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So meanwhile, speaking of Jim, we're at the Sirens. We're at the Sirens, and Babs is looped in to what's going on here. They're Bruce is kind of contacting them on radio, kind of letting them know about what's going on at the GCPD. Barbara's offering her help as they're again she offers to look at. Well, I'm sorry. Before that, Enigma says basically Enigma's trying to earn some trust points with Jim here, and he says, "Well, look, they used me as a pawn. They used me as I was trying to get the line here. Do you have the line that Enigma says here?
I can't say that I do,
Okay,
unfortunately.
well, just to summarize it, basically, Enigma says he was used as a pawn in with the chip and everything. He was used as a pawn, and they messed with my brain. I won in essentially. Is basically what he says.
Uh-huh.
I just love the fact that again, it's not just like the. Oh, I'm sorry, I got it now. I was used as a pawn to murder innocent people. That's what I was thinking of. Though. They used me as a pawn to murder innocent people and mess with my brain. I want revenge, which again, especially for the Riddler, again, one, you make him into a pawn, which insults him, insults his intelligence, and you mess with his brain, the most valuable thing to him. He wants revenge. So I think Jim believes him because of that.
Fair point. And I also kind of got a kick out of, like when the scene starts and they're kind of like basically like wrapping up explaining the split personality with the chip thing to Barbara.
Mhm.
And it's just like, Barbara, this is not the most craziest thing you've heard on the show.
Yeah, and of course we have this thing by kind of sidestepping the whole, basically explain the whole the chip was shorted out by saying, and I learned this after a car battery mishap. It's not important. Basically, it's shorted out, and then he wants to team up. So again, they're kind of earning points with the team up here. Barbara, she's trying to earn some points with Jim here by asking, let me look at that wound, the neck wound, and she's looking at it. And she offers to stitch it up again. Hence again, there is stitching throughout this thing. So again, stitching is involved. 13, not quite
The
sure.
13 is the thing that gets me. I feel like if you drop the 13 and then just call this Stitches, then it would make more sense.
But again, maybe they're homaging season one Gotham with like kind of the odd titles, perhaps. Maybe that's it. Anyway, so basically, Jim wants to keep moving. He doesn't want to tend to the injury because they don't have time, and he doesn't trust. He doesn't really trust Barbara because he's just instantly assuming, okay, just well, what's your fee so we can pay it and leave. And then
Right, right.
Barbara has a moment here where she says, "You mean you can't believe I genuinely want to help? You can't. Why can't you believe I'm just doing something out of the kindness of my heart?" And Jim says, again, Jim makes a valid point here, saying, well, last time a trusted friend of mine, uh, last time I trusted a friend of mine, he tried to kill me. I won't take any chances with anyone waiting for an excuse to stab me in the back, which of course would be Barbara ordinarily. Ordinarily.
Again, I also kind of I'm digging the film noir thing that we have going on with Barbara and Jim throughout the season so far.
And of course, like an episode or so back, I guess a couple days in the history of the show, we had, Barbara. She's, she and Jim and Barbara, they had like kind of a night of romance going on there, very noir style, just kind of like, Jim was in a bad mood because, things were looking really dour, and, there's this kind of moment of weakness there, and they both kind of share a very noir and again, probably the best kiss ending they've ever had on Gotham. They've had a couple stinkers. This is like a really great one.
Oh God, yes, they have had a couple stinkers.
Anyway, so the point is like they've had a moment together, and Jim's just like he's still not trusting her as far as he can throw her, and she's saying, "Look, if I wanted you dead, if I wanted to stab in the back, I would have already." And then of course Enigma's going to get the first aid kit because just feels a little uncomfortable in the scene.
I'm just trying to be helpful.
Yep, and then she's asking like, "What do I have to do to get you to trust me?" And then Jim has a really great line. Again, these are some of those classic Jim Gordon. This is when Mackenzie's acting so much like Jim Gordon. He's like kind of like the guy without all the answers type stuff in this episode where. I honestly don't know. So Eduardo enters. Eduardo interrupts this very tender moment. He says, "Oh, you're right, Jim. Trust is in such short supply these days." So, yeah. Anyway, so on the flip side of things, let's see. Oh yes. Okay. Sorry. So we have the Psychops. That's what I was thinking of. Psychops. So basically, Eduardo is walking us through like how he found him. It's like an old Psychops training thing, where basically you use like the most logical place to find your opponent, which in this case would be, the bar of your ex fiance. And of course, I love this. Has cracked me up. I love the official meeting between Barbara and Eduardo here. Or it's like the proper introductions where it's like, oh, hello, I've heard about you, Barbara.
Right, yeah.
She's like, screw you. She's just really, she's not having any of it. It's quite hilarious. Like, it's like seeing one, the whole thing. You're like, hello, Barbara. I want you to meet Eduardo, my old army friend. Say hello, Eduardo. That's the way it would have gone season one. It would have been very painful. Now it's just like, okay.
You know what's great is that it kind of like feeds into what we were talking about just a little bit ago about how like these army guys are like they're trying to do the meat nice still, but they're just really bad at it.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. So Jim points out what oh, you lost Enigma, I see, and says, yeah, I remember last time when you sent him to kill me, and of course Jim's kind of calling out, you sent him to kill me. We're supposed to be friends. What up, man? Or he says that was your last chance, and it was the last chance for you and me to go back to making the world a better place. And basically, the idea here, and this is a really neat idea here, is that Gotham's as far as Eduardo and his superiors are concerned, Gotham's infested with criminals and terrorists, and it was just he's basically making the cleaning house argument. The cleaning house argument of like we're just going to Gotham's already a lost place. There's no saving it. Let's just kill all the bad guys and kind of start the land anew.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So we have the fake out with Enigma. So Enigma walks into the place and he pretends to be under the influence of the chip and like getting ready to. He's following Eduardo's orders and trying to kill Jim. And basically he has this bit where he throws. They have the knife throw. Remember the knife throw?
Yeah.
It gets an over-the-top kill, kind of classic Gotham style, and really well shot. I got to admit, like just basically, but before he throws the knife, Jim basically bluffs the threat of like, we have evidence on you, which again he does, but they don't know how to get it out quite yet. So we have evidence on you, and then of course, okay, go back, just kill him. Of course, then Enigma like throws the knife. Oddly enough, Enigma's aim isn't good enough for something because Enigma doesn't throw it at Eduardo's face, which would have made the show end a lot earlier.
Right.
It's some other guy with one of the other mercenaries with the guns. Basically, they'll jump behind the bar, and then we have Barbara with secret bar guns, and I love secret bar guns, Tiki. I love them.
Oh yeah.
Secret bar guns. They have a little bit of shootout. They get an escape. It's a neat little.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun.
Meanwhile, Penguin takes through it.
Okay, this is where he runs into Selina, right? Or am I jumping ahead?
No, it's Penguin. He finds some criminals fleeing for their lives.
Mm-hmm. All right, so he runs into Selina. It's like a back alley. Am I right about that?
It's like a dingy apartment or something.
Okay.
It might be a back alley. The point is, like, I don't know. He walks through a door, which makes me think apartment. The point is, he's walking through a place. Some guys are running scared after they've been very scarily wounded, and Selina's just this is hilarious. Selina's just having cereal and ice cream.
She's specifically having Cocoa Pebbles.
Well, again, some name brand varieties. It's
literally Cocoa Pebbles.
Or it's some Cocoa something. Did not say Cocoa Pebbles.
Hold on, I'm pretty sure it actually did. Hold on. Go ahead. I'm looking this up.
Anyway.
I'm pretty sure it's a legit box of Cocoa Pebbles.
I'm pretty sure it's not. But I think I would have noticed that. At least I'd like to think. Oh, and you could be right, and I'll be awestruck. But anyway, the point is, I guess love Selina kind of doing these kind of still kid-like things here. She's having cereal and ice cream, because she can, because it's no man's land. There's no authority around here. She can have she can do what she wants. That's what she's doing. What she wants. After she's kind of defingered some men, which creeps me out.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so she's asking, what do you want? Asking the Penguin what he wants, and Penguin has a great line here. Robin Lord Taylor's delivering it perfectly here. He says, well, that depends. What did they want? So Selina reveals, people recently, since she's now kind of lorded as the woman who killed Jeremiah Valeska, she's everyone wants a piece of her. Everyone wants to, try to kill her, try to take her down so they can kind of be the person they killed the person that killed Jeremiah Valeska. And basically, this is an idea that I'd love to think this is an intentional clue. This is a really great Batman story, Teague. I love to think it's from The Man Who Killed Batman, which is a really great episode of the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
Whole episode, even. Anyway, so the idea of if you're the one who quote unquote killed a Batman, or in this case killed a proto Joker, then of course everyone's gonna try to get a piece of you. So it's dangerous business. So basically, Penguin offers to help her. She's been kind of squatting, so she wants to find a place for herself. And Penguin offers that she can crash at his citadel. I just love that statement. You can crash in my citadel. In exchange for finding Magpie. So Selena basically gives a description. Again, he doesn't know who this person is. So he gives a description, and Selena says, "Ah, yes, resembles a goth chicken." Of course, Penguin, the goth chicken. That one's kind of funny. I don't know why. It shouldn't be funny, but it is.
Mhm.
Anyway, so Selena then makes the Tabitha point, like, okay, why? Okay, tell me why it would help you when you killed my mentor. Essentially, you killed Tabitha, and Penguin. This is a really great moment between Penguin and Selena. Selena here. This is great. Penguin calls Selena on her big change. This is a great thing thematically for Selena's arc, where Selena this season, she's committing to the full Catwoman idea, where she's out for herself, she's loyal to no one. She knows the rules of the street. Everybody out for themselves. And eye for an eye, out for yourselves philosophy. And Penguin saying, okay, if you put your money where your mouth is, if you believe in that, because she made her bed when she killed my mother. It was justice. It was eye for an eye. You and I should be on board.
Yeah, I really like that. It really kind of submits them. And Dragon, I gotta say, I think these two are kind of adorable together, and we almost never see them together.
Oh, true. And Tiki, what I love what they did here is, again, we were always saying, Gotham is kind of a hybrid of 60s Batman and Batman Returns, basically making a dark 60s Batman. And with the Batman Returns of it all, this feels like a far better team up of these two characters.
Oh yeah, for sure, far better team up. Yeah, yeah.
As you can probably imagine, Tiki, many a times in stories, but also in animation, they've tried, again, a la Batman Returns, they've paired them up over the years, and it's usually always in the shadow of Batman Returns. So this finally, I think, is something they kind of best Batman Returns, and it was a long time coming, thankfully. Where it's finally team up without all the weird sexual tension that we had with the Tim Burton version. It's like, oh god,
look, honestly, like I will defend Batman. Batman Returns honestly might be like subjectively my favorite of the '90s Batman movies. It might be just because like I really like that era of Tim Burton, and that's like a way more Tim Burton-y movie than the '89 Batman movie is. But yeah, that movie's not perfect by any stretch.
And Michelle Pfeiffer actually put a bird in her mouth, man. That's not right. Anyway, so Selena strikes a deal where she wants the diamond. Penguin saying, "No way." Then every person in Gotham will think that you can steal from the Penguin. Again, it's a great bit here, and I love this.
I like that point. That's a really good point.
This is what kills me. I love it's this recurring thing that they're doing. I hope they keep doing this with this team up. She boops him on the nose, like
Yes. I'm so glad that you bring that up. That was like my single favorite thing about this dynamic. And it's called back later on in the episode, and I just love that.
Just with this boop,
like boop on the nose. That's adorable.
A single boop on the nose is better than all the weird sexual tension they put in Batman Returns. So much. One real motion, they outshined it in one little boop. Right.
Oh man.
We have a far better team up in the works at this point. This is all going great. Okay, then we have Nigma here. So Nigma. Oh, I'm sorry. So let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. I'm jumping to the later scene. Here's what we have Eduardo. So Eduardo is Eduardo makes the call to move on phase 2. They got to move on phase 2 quicker than they anticipate, which essentially means
just like, hey guys, let's like drop the whole like we're failing at the fake facade of being the good guys anyway. So let's essentially drop the pretense.
Pretty much. And phase 2, in essence, is let's say we unleash the crooks in the holding cell. We kill them to make a point, basically recruit the GCPD if they're in. Then they can help us kill all the criminals in Gotham. If not, we'll just lock them up until we finish the job, and vice versa. And then we obviously Bullock and most of the GCPD, if not all, they get locked up because they're not for this plan. And over the radio, Eduardo is talking to Walker, and he tells her about the evidence problem. The problem that so the chip, which is in Enigma's brain, which has a link to us, which means we're in trouble. But Walker's got an ace up the sleeve. She has her bait in mind. She has kind of a bait for such an occasion, which we're going to see unfold later. Meanwhile, we have this is great. I got to tell you the kind of scenes that warm my heart here. It's a Bruce and Jim Gordon scene here where Again, Jim's giving a bit of advice here, which is really nice. Where it kind of foreshadows where they're going to be. Where he says, "Thanks for the help and the resources," because basically, they're using Wayne Enterprises stuff to get the chip out of Enigma's brain, kind of figure out what's going on there. We have like all these Wayne Enterprises resources at their disposal for the big job coming up in the third act.
Yes.
Bruce is asking, "Are you sure about Barbara Keene and Enigma?" And then Jim has the great line here. Says, "War makes for strange bedfellows, but it's good to have a few." I'm sorry, it's really sweet here. It's good. It's good to have a friend, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to have friends around nearby.
It's good to have a friend nearby. I think
that's the line. Yeah,
yeah.
To have a friend nearby, Bruce. So it's like, I don't know. Then that just warms my heart. Like he's just saying, you know what, things are crazy in Gotham, but it's nice to have someone I can rely on. Again, that's the Batman. Exactly. Anyway. So Lucius, and then basically this is the scene we had before us right now. While they're having their moment, this really sweet moment, and behind them,
these four are just like the freaking Peanuts gallery, just like waiting around. Like, all right, like we're all like kind of like have four different subplots going on, but we're just kind of here as the side characters.
Basically, if this is Seinfeld, then I guess that makes Enigma either Kramer or George Costanza. But let's just.
I feel like this particular predicament that Enigma's in would probably happen to George.
Yeah, that's the thing. It looks in I was going to say Kramer because he's nutty, but by the same token, he's in a George Costanza kind of situation right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like George Costanza is like kind of like the consummate like failure in life almost. So it's like this was just kind of like George, just like, yeah, I'm here. Life fucked me over again. What are you?
I'm trying to keep this. I'm going to try to keep this under a minute. I'm going to sign the Seinfeld rules here, okay?
Okay.
Lucius has to be Jerry because, again, Jerry and George are friends, and Lucius and Enigma have that history together. And again, it's just kind of the smarter man. Again, the dumber version of Jerry with George Costanza. So you have the two of those. And of course, Barbara, she's Elaine, and that makes Alfred.
Alfred is Kramer.
Alfred's a British Kramer. I think process of elimination based on these four characters that
Can you just picture Sean Pertwee just like doing the Kramer slide into the room?
Hey, Lucius.
Oh God.
Hi, buddy. Anyway. So,
and that would also mean that Lucius and Babs have like a weird on again, off again type dynamic.
Yeah, they used to date.
Right. Oh God. It is all right.
Anyway, I wonder if that makes Jim David Putty. Anyway. Getting back on point here. Okay, so Lucius performs some proper brain surgery opposed to what Hugo Strange was doing, which is scary beyond all belief. But Lucius here, he's basically loosened the stitches on Enigma's head, and hence the stitches of it all as well. Lucius performed some brain surgery on a conscious Enigma. This is hilarious because Enigma, of course, he was kind of paralyzed while being conscious, and of course he could feel everything, but he couldn't say anything. It was really creepy. And here we have Enigma. It's a much more funny version of that. So again, they undercut the severity of this here, which is Enigma's awake and he's just critiquing Lucius as he's kind of digging through his brain. Of course, when you do brain surgery, many a time, if not all the time, you have to have the person awake so you're not getting into the wrong thing. So as Enigma's kind of complaining during this, Corey Smith does this hilarious thing where he basically he just comes up with this random gibberish because Lucius is pressing on the speech center of his brain.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have this great line from Lucius to Barbara, I think. It says, the human brain, this cracks me up. Barbara saying, do it again. It's for her own music. It's like, do it again. Just do it again. We're having so much fun here. And Lucius says, the human brain is not a plaything, Miss Keene. A great line. I don't know.
It was just like, please do not habituate the curtain rod.
Anyway, so then basically everything's right as rain. They got the chip out of the brain. Everything seems to be fine. Of course, Enigma does Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, that whole thing. And we have this really nice bit. I don't know. To me, it's like in the crazy world of Gotham at this point. I love that Lucius and Enigma have kind of an understanding of each other, and Enigma's legitimately thank you, Lucius. I thought it was a nice old legitimate thank you to Lucius there.
Mm-hmm.
Now he has control of his faculty. His brain is restored thanks to Lucius Fox, which means the world to the Riddler. So that's nice. All right. So Lucius checks the chip using the Wayne Enterprises, software in the laptop and so on and so forth. And he checks the chip. He finds an audio log, which is important. So he finds the audio log of the commands to Enigma and so on and so forth, which means Lucius, in theory, can figure out the link and kind of figure out where the bombing Haven command came from, which of course would be detrimental to the government and Walker if they can prove it, which they should be able to. But then Eduardo contacts Jim via the radio, and he reveals that he has somebody, Tiki. Who does he have?
He has Lee.
He's got Lee, who's not in 3D.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Anyway, so Lee's back.
I love how 3D Lee is like kind of like a, it's not a running gag we pull out a lot, but it's in our Rolodex. It's in our Rolodex. Anyways,
in all seriousness, so it's Leslie Tompkins. Lee is back, which means Maria Baccarin. She's done shooting Deadpool 2. That's really what it means. And
exactly.
Anyway, so she's back, and we of course the old and we have this great line by Eduardo kind of gets out, kind of cuts out the commercial. How many ex-fiancés do you have? Great line, of course. Lee, she's in a very helpless position right now, which leads to a deal that he makes. He wants Nigma, trade Nigma for Lee. That's the deal they make, and Jim instantly agrees because again they have the upper hand. And Jim wants to meet at Haven using the excuse, "I want you to see the carnage you caused." All right, fine. I'll play your game. You just keep the emotion out of war, but I'll play your game. So Jim explains I'm sorry. Do you want to take us through some of this?
I'm sorry, Dry. My Hulu thing is on an ad right now, so you probably better do it.
All right, anyway, so Jim explains to a very frantic thing, like, wait, what? You're going to trade me? What am I, a cow for magic beans? What are you doing? Okay, all seriousness, Jim explains that they're going to trade the chip, not Ed, because they know they want the chip, therefore Ed's in no danger. They're going to trade the chip and use Bruce's mainland press contacts. They're basically going to use they're going to make a copy of the chips while they give them like the physical chip. They've already made a copy of them. They'll send the copy to Bruce. They'll email the copy to Bruce's mainland contacts. They'll use it, but they need to broadcast the chip's information. Unfortunately, to broadcast it, they need an antenna, which they don't have, but there is one on top of the GCPD's rooftop. Which means they need to walk into Cop Central.
A really, really hilarious heist scene.
Yes, which means they have to get into the GCP, which is now populated by really non-pleasant mercenaries, like really just failing at pleasantries. Mercenaries just fail at pleasantries.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so then we have a little conversation between Lee and Bullock. A little conversation, and we see that Lee. Tell me what you think about Lee's performance in this episode, man. What do you think about how Baccarin's playing Lee kind of resets? That's the thing. So she's been reset to 3 months after season 4 ended. So she's kind of lost the 3 months of memory, and she's been kind of reset to. I don't know how much she's forgotten. Like I assume she knows all the Narrows stuff, but she seems really different than she was there.
Yeah, it was a little off for me, Dragon. It was a little off.
Again, I'd chalk it up to like kind of the losing 3 months kind of makes you a different person, having the same memory issues that Enigma had. That's the logic I have for it. I'm not totally against it, but it did feel off.
I mean, the writing on it makes sense. I kind of agree with you that like in terms of performance, it doesn't really translate that well.
All I know is it's better than Lee in season 3. That's all I know.
Oh God, yes. Oh, we can 100% sign off on that.
I'll take it if it's not season 3 Lee. All right, I'll take any Lee but season 3 Lee.
Will you take 3D Lee over season 3 Lee?
I would take 3D
Lee. Right.
All right, so let's see. So then Bruce and company, they're on the move with a plan. They've crafted a whole heist plan so they can kind of achieve their goal there. It's going to be crazy and off the walls. And meanwhile, we have we have Jim and Eduardo's showdown. This is a really great scene here. This is getting like kind of the third act stuff I'm talking about here. So Jim and Eduardo, they're getting ready for, it's like a Western. They're having a showdown. We have like kind of a wide shot of Haven. It's again really well directed shots from Ben McKenzie. It looks really great. And he destroys the chip in front of his eyes. But Eduardo knows this place is. You made a copy, I've seen these old theatrics before, buddy. You believe me. Then we have this great year one thing, and I was geeking out so much about this scene. It's like, oh, Jim's pulling a year one here, where he's calling out another cop, and he's just basically the whole. He wants to go mano a mano with the guy. It's like it's Jim Gordon versus Flass in year one. I love that scene.
Oh yeah.
3 men versus one with no gun. You think you have enough help? Just calling out Eduardo here. That's great. And then meanwhile, we have and you're using Enigma. This is where it really gets under skin. You're using Enigma to pick up your slack like I used to. Get a whole call back to the burning truck where Eduardo says, "You're just gonna die now in that burning truck story forever, aren't you?"
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So then, I was always the first man in. Yeah, getting our people killed. This is where Jim knows he has him again. This is like a Flash thing. It's like a year one Jim Gordon tactic. He knows like how to read. Where he says, that's what got our people killed. And he basically lists the number of names, and he draws Eduardo in, walking closer and closer. He's getting to the ego of the soldier has something to prove mentality, and he knows this, so he just gets in there. He unloads his gun, drops it on the ground. And of course, it's going to be for later. And then they have kind of some year one fisticuffs, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, kind of like the classic like run and charge shot before the actual fighting begins.
Yeah. All right, so Penguin stuff. Take us through.
Okay, let's see. All right, so Penguin and Selena are in some. They're in the vault, right?
Well, no, they find Magpie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, she has like an apartment full of valuable stuff. So that's what you're thinking. It's not a vault. But
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Find Magpie.
Okay, so they find Magpie, and then Magpie is basically just like explaining like. The whole boom of it all, right?
Yeah, we have like I love this really great move where Selena like wraps her leg in the whip and just there's like boom, just like makes her fall right on her face. It's great, and then she recognizes Selena as the person that killed Jeremiah Valeska. Then we have the boom room scenario.
Anything here, boom, then more boom, and more boom, then the whole room. Boom. All right, we get it. Boom. Got it. Got the point. Thank you.
Love this Selena. It's like, we get it already, man. We got it.
Again, it's like the show kind of culling out its own nonsense.
Yep, and the idea is, so again, this is great. This is a budget game. We haven't had one of these since, last episode was the one where they had the kind of the old, almost a 60s Batman death trap with like season 3 60s Batman, where, Jim had to basically avoid touching the lava, essentially.
right. Yeah.
We have another one here where again they can't afford all sorts of bombs and C4 and all that setup. So what they've done here again, that's why they set up the whole Magpie's so good at recreating things. She's made everything into a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's like a season 3 60s Batman thing where so it's basically just a set full of junk. Full of valuable junk, shiny things that have been weaponized, and like anything could be a weapon. So anything could be a bomb, which means like she throws a watch, like, oh, I guess that wasn't it. I wonder if that's a Clock King reference because the animated series Clock King had that awesome pocket watch they threw like a bomb, which I would love if that's the inspiration, if that's what they're referencing there, but I don't know. It's a long shot.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so again, like we're in a room that could blow up if we touch anything. Ooh. It's so cheap, they they ran out of money, which means they had some spectacular plan for the end of the season, I'm sure.
Right.
All right, so Alvarez. Oh god, we have sorry, the Alvarez thing's hilarious. You tell about the Alvarez thing.
Honestly, I think I kind of missed it.
Alvarez has an escape plan. Alvarez's escape plan is use their shoelaces to fashion a lasso to get fashion a lasso to grab the key. And then
oh my god.
Bullock calls him out like, okay, Roy Rogers, I don't think the shoelace lasso approach is it's a no-go, because then we get out of here and then what? No harebrained. We have this great setup line here. Bullock says, "Look, no harebrained schemes are going to work and get us out of here." And of course, in saying no harebrained schemes, Who comes through the door?
Oh God. It's Nigma, but it's not just Nigma. It's Nigma in some kind of like ridiculous, like bulletproof, like Fallout outfit, I guess. I don't know.
It's Nigma from the Hurt Locker, pretty much.
Yeah, right.
So it's Riddler in a bomb suit, which again, I don't know how. I think some of this is on the money. Where again, these things are designed primarily, again, like they're designed for bombs and explosions, which I guess could stand a reason they could take some gunfire. Again, if they're going to take shrapnel, all sorts of things that are in bombs, presumably they could take gunfire. I'm sure he's talking it up a little bit by this. You don't know how much of it's a bluff, but it's also probably Wayne Enterprises funded as well. So I don't know. It's hard to tell. The point is, it's a really strong Kevlar reinforced bomb suit, which basically makes Nigma kind of unkillable in the scene, so they don't kill him easily. Because if they did that, we wouldn't have a show.
Exactly.
So Nigma just kind of walks in there, and again, basically Nigma's the distraction, so our guys can get into the GCPD and kind of get to the antenna. But Nigma, being the showman, basically does what he does best: riddles the room.
Mm-hmm.
And we have this great line, this great delivery, where it's almost like a Pee Wee Herman delivery from Corey Michael Smith here, where. These mercenaries are kind of dumb when you really think about it. They're asking, "What's that? Isn't it obvious?" It's a bomb.
Bane, and then Bane from Bane makes, but instead of like the Bane that we're anticipating, it's like a take on Batman and Robin Bane, and he's just like bomb.
Maybe I'm going to give the show way too much credit here. Let's say Magpie is a foreshadow to the bomb and the Bane of it all for the season.
Oh no! Oh God!
Boom, boom! We have a bomb. We're getting there progressively. We're getting there. Yes. All right. So Riddler, you're gonna need the dialogue on this one too, because I don't know how to have this riddle in front of me.
Okay. Really quick, as Hulu again is in the middle of an ad, and that's where I get my dialogue from. So set it up, Dragon. I have about 16 seconds left on the ad.
Right, point being, Riddler is the distraction here, and Bullock is not helping in this situation, by the way, which is hilarious. For Bullock is not picking up on Nigma's gesturing to Bullock like, "Not now, Bullock," and especially later on, he's just gesturing like, "Hey, don't help, man. I'm trying to help you," but he can't say that. Essentially, he gives out a riddle, which I think he will reveal momentarily here. He gives a riddle where you need a 4-digit code in an answer to this riddle about the palette.
I just love the little exchange between Bullock and Nigma, where like Nigma is like, he almost lets it slip, like, no, Harvey, this is a distraction, and say just like, Harvey, not now.
This is going to sound really weird and just out of left field. I don't know if it's because Maria Baccarin's in the episode or what, but I don't know why. Corey Michael Smith, just with this one line, it sounds like an ADR Deadpool line where it's just Deadpool say like, "Come on," like one of those bits where it's just kind of it's I don't know, just for some reason just sounded a little bit like Deadpool with that one, like, "Not now, Bull." Just like a guy in a suit who's just fed up with somebody and they're like, "I don't want to hear it right now."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's an obscure thing. The point is they have 2 minutes. They have 2 minutes to solve a riddle, which requires a 4-digit code on the bomb, and Enigma's sticking around again to keep everybody in the same place, I guess. So they have the riddle.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, hit him with it.
The pallid beach mouse can give birth every 4 weeks. Assuming we start with 2 mice and the size of an average litter is 12 mice, and that they are equally split male to female, how many pallid beach mice would we have at the end of 1 year?
Yeah, that's the riddle. Again, out of all, I love that Enigma went with the most monotonous, just kind of like the most obscure, monotonous riddle he could think of to stump these guys. He basically needs.
Well, I really like the fact that like the riddle is technically easy to solve, but only if you like don't do any of the math. Because if you try to do the math on it, you're going to run out of time. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And again, he needs
multiple layers to the riddle.
That's the thing. He needs to stall for 2 minutes.
Uh-huh.
All right. So then we have basically following this, we intercut between what's going on with the GCPD and kind of Gordon in Haven here. But this is the stuff I was waiting. I was so looking forward to with this episode. Bruce uses the grappling gun. He grapples to the rooftop. Is Bruce on this rooftop in broad daylight, saving the day. I love this stuff.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Bruce grapples to the rooftop as Lucius, Babs, and Alfred. They're down the bait, and I guess in the recesses of the GCPD working their magic. They're kind of linking up the antenna, so basically Bruce can like kind of hook up the cables and everything. So again, Bruce is getting ready to rig the antenna, and then he battles a mercenary on the rooftop, which I love. And basically, I love when we cut back to him. So again, this is all good stuff right now. But it's going to get. And I love the outfit. You know me too. I'm loving this outfit he's wearing this season with like the long black coat. He's got like now he has the wrist guards and the gloves and everything. It's like, oh god, it looks great.
Yeah.
Anyway, so coming back to things, so from one fight to another, again, really good editing on the episode too. From one fight to the other. We have Jim versus Eduardo, and of course it's a brutal battle. It's a brutal battle, and they're very evenly matched at this juncture. Emphasis at this juncture, because I'm sure that's not going to remain the same after this episode. Right now, they're very evenly matched, and they're both trained Marines, I believe. So they're fighting each other, and we have this revelation, man. I love this revelation. We have. This is one time about the big thematic crux of the episode here. So they're having a battle again. Not only is it just brutal physically, it's brutal emotionally with what Eduardo tells Jim here.
Mm-hmm.
He says, those people are dead because of you. People in Haven are dead because of you, Jim. And how do you figure that? And we reveal that Walker was convincing the government. This whole time, Walker's been convincing the government that Gotham is full of criminals that need to be eliminated. But Haven, basically, since the creation of Haven, one man being able to house and rescue hundreds of people convinced the government that maybe the criminal element in Gotham, it's not so big and scary after all. And then
the actual underhanded people behind the whole thing are like, no, that's not the message we want to send out here. That's bad. We have to do something. Basically, it's like the opposite. It's like the opposite. They're like kind of the people that are like trying to tear down a city's public image instead of reform it. Like the whole hey guys, go to Detroit. We have great food.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. So basically, Walker blew up Haven because she had to kind of get the okay to send her guys in there. So basically, again, they needed something to go wrong in Gotham, but the idea that one man was actually keeping everything stable in Gotham. That was the reason they had to do something dramatic to kind of get the go ahead to go in there.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the kicker. This was and after Haven was established, the government was finally just about to give Gotham relief, which is why they had to act.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a kind of almost like a Twilight Zone-esque idea. You know what I mean? It's like, imagine, if you will, a city under crisis that finally came together, and imagine a secret society that wanted to take down any chance of happiness that city provided.
I mean, that's the thing, Tiki. I mean, this is to give a current example without saying what it is a Shyamalan twist done right recently. It's like, you were so close, yet nope.
Oh.
Those who've seen that movie, they know exactly what I'm referencing, but I won't. Anyway, so the point is though, what
I like Heredity is the big Shyamalan movie that came out this year.
You can pretend.
It's not a good movie, but it's kind of like a return to form of the Happening style Shyamalan. Anyway.
But seriously, this is probably my favorite moment in the episode here, because I just love the hopeless blow that's just been dealt to Jim, that as much as you try, someone's going to be out to get you. Someone's going to tear you down. As much good as you do, you're not enough. And it's like, that's the emotional blow that Jim takes this episode. I relished in. Like, oh my god, it's such a great dramatic point in the episode. It really is.
Again, going to go ahead and cite kidding here.
Yeah. So then we have saying Jim's come back and what about there were children? And Eduardo's response is, it was an acceptable loss for the mission, which again provokes Jim. Jim tackles him and attacks him, and then of course as Jim's railing into Eduardo, because Eduardo's he's such an evil guy in the scene here. He's he's sticking to the mission. That's the thing. I mean, what do you think of Eduardo in the episode overall before the big thing at the end?
I mean, he's fine. If I'm just at this point, I'm just kind of waiting to get to Bane in terms of the the actual big bad of the season. I honestly wouldn't mind if he gets killed off soon, but he's okay. I mean, like we said, he does have kind of like that whole like he's trying to maintain the pleasantries, and even when he's obviously evil, so that's fun.
Right. So, of course, his men break up the fight as Jim's winning now, and he's really and Jim Wells is going on. He's slyly grabbing the bullets and grabbing the gun right now. He's really sly as he's just kind of being kicked while he's down. Eduardo says, shoot, shoot Lee, but out of your sight. It's my gift to you, Jim.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm talking about. Like he's still trying to be pleasant about it, but he's just like, like what is this? Are you being like sarcastic? Are you being facetious here? Like, I don't know.
I think he's the only one who grasps the pleasantries because he is trying to do Jim a service in his last minutes. You don't have to watch someone you care about die. I'm going to do that for you. Because again, he did save his life way back when. So he does again. Jim was his buddy in those days, and just they have different paths because the mission means something different to the two of them. So Lee's being led away, and then Jim here, I believe. Oh, yes. So then Jim shoots one of the guys trying to save Lee, and then basically a shootout happens. Then, of course, Eduardo kind of sneaks up behind Jim and attacks him. Then they're going to get into a real nasty fight after that. So we cut back to this is probably my other favorite bit in the episode right here. Lucius is asking Bruce's progress here, and he's on the rooftop, and he says, 1 second, as he's fighting the guy on the rooftop, and we have this Dark Knight Returns moment where he basically it mirrors the kicks in Dark Knight Returns. Whenever Frank Miller and I guess Klaus Jones, whenever Frank Miller would draw someone getting kicked in Dark Knight Returns, it would look something like this, like Oliver Queen, the one-armed futuristic Oliver Queen, like kicks out a soldier. That's what it really reminds me of. Like he was like kicking the guy in the face, or also Batman kicking Superman in the face in Dark Knight Returns. It's like one of those bits, man. I just love that. It's just 1 second, he gets the upper hand, he kicks the guy in the face to knock him out, and he fixes the intent. That's a great moment.
It's nice.
Yeah. Okay, so as that's happening, Bullock. Oh, okay, tell him about the Bullock modes. Again, the antenna's fixed.
Oh my god, I fucking love this. This is
mission accomplished, and
this
then
is classic Bullock right here, man.
The mission's accomplished, but so the thing they needed the stall for is fine. But what's happening with our guy who's been doing the stalling?
Oh man, I love it. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, Dragon. Like this is sheer season 1 randomness. It's like we're going to just insert this random part of the character's backstory that just happens to be there for convenient plot purposes.
Yeah.
But instead of it just being lazy writing, it literally gets turned into a joke. All right, so Bullock is just like, he's like, I know the answer. I don't think you do, Bullock. And
this is where he's gesturing, I don't think you do, Bullock. As in, like ordinarily, really relative. He's just telling him, like, no, not right now, Bullock. You don't know the answer.
All right. And Bullock's like my high school zoology class is still rattling around up here. Okay, Dragon, I just want to take a minute. Like, are high school zoology classes really a thing? Like, I totally get like zoology in college, but high school? And B, is that really something that Bullock would pursue? Like, assuming it's like an elective?
Well, remember, he didn't shoot. He had he was punished and had to write an essay about it.
Well, I know, but that doesn't mean like, even though he was punished, that doesn't, he's still taking the class. I don't know. But more importantly, like, I just thought it was weird that like I this is like a total nitpick here, but it's like maybe it should have been like college instead of high school.
I don't know. I mean, look, it might be like, again, the show's a bit timeless. It's kind of hard there's probably a change in curriculum in the olden days. And again, if the show's like not really, I don't want to get into semantics of it. Let's just accept.
All right. Fair enough.
Anyway, so point is
basically Bullocks is just, he's like the pallid beach mouse was extinct. It disappeared in 1959, and the number of them that you'd find is 0. The answer is 0.
Okay, now real quick, I would love it if this is a reference to this because it's a really great bit. So 0 year, of course, as I told you, the big thing they're really basing the season off of. There's a bit in that story where there's a math question in class. In Bruce Wayne, it's a big thematic. It's a really good moment too, where Bruce Wayne is in a classroom and he's basically being like the teacher's really being a prick to him. And the teacher's basically, well, Bruce Wayne, you're our salvation. If you want everybody to get out of class early or get home on time, you got to answer the question. And basically, again, this is Bruce like kind of still ailing about the loss of his parents and everything. And basically, the answer to the problem is 0. And Bruce kind of answers it later in a really awesome way to kind of screw the math teacher, screw the teacher over. So again, like I would love it if they pulled that 0 answer idea from that, but at the very least, kind of 0 being a big part, maybe 0 even as a whole. I don't know. It's a neat idea.
Okay. All right. Bullock's like just really insisting on them checking the code. He's like, I swear to God, I got in trouble. I had to write an essay about it. And Dragon, I love how that particular memory in high school is like something that really sticks out to Bullock. You know, because I don't know about you, man, but I hardly remember the shit that I got in trouble for in high school. Like, maybe it was because I was a good kid and I didn't really typically get into trouble, but I don't know. Like, I just love the idea that Bullock, you know, A, he got in trouble, and B, that, you know, this essay was like, you know, kind of like a punitive, like, oh, you're going to learn more, darn it. And then also it's just kind of just rattling around in Bullock's brain. And it's like, it almost feels like a traumatizing event in Bullock's high school life.
So what I remember is, you know, someone was trying to get an animated show made. It was called Gotham High, and people did like these stills, like what that show would look like. It looks like a fantastic concept, by the way. It looks really fun. And basically, someone, I think DC, they did a kind of a lamer version of it with kind of the DC superhero girls version. Basically, I don't want to be confused. There's actually a good version. Sorry, let me try to taper this off a little bit here. Okay, there are a couple shows called DC Superhero Girls, and one was retrofitted from Super Best Friends Forever, and that's the good one. That's the one they've kind of rebranded under the whole DC Superhero Girls thing. So the new one is good, but there was like the old one where it's basically they're selling toys. It's like, hey, it's all the female DC characters in school. Where again, all of that probably inspired from this Gotham High idea that was kind of put into play. It's like, you know what? There was like an animated show about Bruce Wayne in high school and like all the Batman villains in high school. So, again, it's a fun little, it's a cutesy idea. And this Bullock stuff makes me wonder, like, you know what show I want to see? I want to see Jim and Bullock the high school years, so they're kind of.
Oh my God! Yes.
And again, they're having these big, profound, kind of like almost like Linus and Charlie Brown at the wall scenes at lunch. Lunch, Jim.
Anyway. Yeah, I think the dynamic that I picture with those four is that like Gordon is like the freshman, right? He's like the guy who just entered school. But he's like the popular freshman, you know, he's like the freshman that even the seniors want to be friends with. Meanwhile, Bullock's the senior, and he's just kind of like that senior who's just kind of like the lone wolf, and, you know, he doesn't really have many friends in his graduating class. He's just kind of like, you know, just kind of sticks to his own hobbies and stuff. And, you know, it's the popular kid getting together with the rebel.
Right.
All right, anyways.
Getting back on points, so they put the code in, it works, and basically bomb deactivates, and then they all open fire on Nigma, who again, thankfully, is protected by that suit. And before, like, having one of the mercenaries about to pose in the riddle, like, how many bullets before you're dead. And then basically, as all this transpires, basically the backup plan were our guys here. You know, were Alfred, Babs, and Lucius. They throw these gas canisters through the ventilation system to knock everybody out. And of course, Enigma, he puts on a gas mask. I love the idea that I love the detail that there was a gas mask inside the bomb thing. It wasn't actually a bomb; it was just a gas mask inside.
Right.
Fancy Wayne Enterprises briefcases. Love that. So he puts that on. They're all safe as everybody's kind of getting conked out, so they can escape, and you know, so on and so forth. Okay. Meanwhile, oh yes, here's a big moment. This is where we're getting the Tiki. This is the real start of the Bane stuff right here.
Okay.
So Eduardo, he reveals, and I love this when this happened here. So Eduardo reveals that the friends that Jim's listing to get under his skin earlier on, because now Eduardo has the advantage here. He's like really kind of beating the crap out of Jim Gordon here, and he's using the rebarb and everything. Oh god, it's brutal. Eduardo reveals that their friends died because after Jim went, basically it's so trippy. Like at the very start of the series, at the very start of season 1 of Gotham, like a little bit before then, this is what happened. Jim left his tour to go back to Gotham. And as that happened, their units still went on doing their stuff, and they were captured caught behind enemy lines, and they were taken to the darkest hell on earth, which is here's the thing that there's a. I apologize for kind of getting you on the pronunciation of this because it's pronounced a couple different ways. Because here's the thing. So I've always been. It depends how they spell it. Sometimes it's spelled differently. Because there's Penadora, which I'm used to. In this case, he said it like Peñadoro. The point is, it means
that's like completely different.
it means like harsh sentence. That's what it means, like harsh sentence, harsh punishment. That's the gist of it. It's like and sometimes it's again it could be Peñadora, but sometimes just Penador. It varies. See, everyone usually says the island's name. The island's name is Santa Prisca. That's one that's easily to get. The point is, Penadora, the prison that's on Santa Prisca. Anyway, my point that's the prison that Bane went to. That's it's a huge deal.
Gotcha,
And that's why. Gotcha. 2 episodes ago, we called that episode did not feature this place at all, Penadora. Again, it just makes it feel like why? Why did we call it Penadora?
Again, I feel like if any episode this season is going to be like the the homage to the Selena Kyle and Arkhams of the world from season 1, where it's like, hey, let's pull a popular Batman reference, but not have anything to do with the episode, as if that's going to draw in people that haven't been watching. Like imagine someone who imagine someone who has not been watching the show, just like blindly tuning into this particular episode is their first episode of Gotham. You're like, I'm just gonna dab my toes in the water of Gotham here.
But seriously, this is where I think Eduardo really starts to get interesting in the season, Teague. This is where we get into the whole King Snake stuff of it all, right here. Where Eduardo, of course, folks, just in case anyone's not is wondering, so Eduardo is supposed to be Bane's father, who is King Snake.
Oh.
Anyway, so point is, we mentioned Penadora or Peñadoro, and he says he was left to die by the government. The government didn't come to save him because it was probably like an off the books operation or something. So the point is, the government didn't save him, which has a great parallel to what Gordon's gone through this season, where the government has not been helping him out, it has kind of left him to do things on his own. So one, I think there's a great parallel there, and again, like a soldier from the old days, like all this, have some neat parallels going on there. And again, kind of Gotham risking turning into Penadora, possibly. Which for years, Tiki, I've always been saying I love my Bane philosophy has always been Bane, when written right, is a guy who's trying to turn Gotham into a prison-like setting. Like Bane conquered his own prison, therefore he wants to conquer Gotham and turn it into the same prison that he grew up in. That's always been my theory on Bane. Anyway, so Walker saved him and gave him a purpose, which is this whole mission that they're on right now. And then he stabs Jim with the rebar, which is really painful.
Yeah.
And then Jim, what he does here is really awesome. I don't know how he did it, but it's awesome. Where Jim kind of stabs him with the end of the rebar that is sticking out of him, and then he basically pushes him. And this is brutal what happens to Eduardo here. He shoves Eduardo and basically shoves him with enough force. And this is dangerous, folks. It's a real thing that could happen. Maybe not cinematically interesting, but this can happen. Where he falls backwards and he's impaled by the rebar of and this is so trippy, Tiki, so poetic. He's rebarbed presumably to death. Presumably, he's rebarbed by the same building that he brought down. The Haven. It's a piece of Haven building that he got rebarbed at. The thing he's responsible for destroying. Poetic.
Right. Yeah.
So, he's impaled. Jim hears gunshots. He hears gunshots, and then we reveal that Lee shot. Lee got herself out of the jam. She shot those guys.
Dragon, I got to admit, I was expecting them to. I was almost half expecting Lee to be killed off in this moment.
Really?
I mean, it would have been shocking, right? It would have been like, all right, let's just, like to kind of show how big the stakes are. Like, let's reintroduce Lee only to immediately kill her off.
Interesting.
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of glad that didn't happen, but it's.
Huh. All right. Okay, so again, Jim's kind of a little stupefied by that. And then we get to the next scene where, let's see. Oh yes, so Selena and Penguin, they're kind of jamming in the room together. They're kind of like Selena's piecing together some stuff, piecing together that Penguin has a vault. She figures out that Penguin has a vault full of valuable stuff that's worth big money. Not in Gotham in its current state, the whole no man's land effect of it all, but on the mainland will be worth big bucks. Which of course is his plan to leave Gotham, go to the mainland, and kind of make a new life for himself. And she figures that Penguin's leaving Gotham, therefore Penguin has this great response. Congratulations, you're a genius. She asks why, and essentially Penguin gives her the old kind of the old Ozymandias Alexander the Great Breaking Bad response, if you will, which essentially is I am Alexander the Great, the King of Kings, and he wept when he had no more land to conquer. And again, this is starting off a thing I'm really looking forward to seeing done with the Penguin this season, Teague. Where Penguin, as far as he's concerned, he's done all that he can in Gotham. Some things twice, implying you haven't killing Theo Galavan twice. You know, yeah, doing like all the deaths and returns and stuff. So,
Right.
so then he says like, "There's nothing left for me here," and sorry, basically, there's nothing left for me here. And this is the whole full circle idea has me jazzed out of my mind for the season, Tiki, where he well, basically, it's a Penguin from the very start of the series is a guy who came back to Gotham at every cost. And again, it all goes back to that dock scene, Tiki. And again, I love that here is like Penguin's trying to get out of Gotham. I'm sure it's going to have a really great full circle payoff.
Yeah, yeah.
And Selena, she doesn't want to be the person who killed Jeremiah Valeska anymore, and she wants to go with him. She wants it. She wants the next. Ironically enough, she wants kind of a clean slate thing from Dark Knight Rises, which is just kind of ironic. She wants to kind of go essentially she wants to go to the cafe with the Penguin, which is kind of weird.
Oh God! Oh yeah, that'd be a twist.
So his response is my heart goes out to you, but no. And then she strikes a deal. I'll make a deal with you. If I can get us out, she has to haggle it down a little bit here. If I can get us out of here, I'll get us out of here in exchange for you and I becoming partners, 50-50 partners. Says no, 10%, and I will not murder you when we get to the mainland. Very skeptical, just like, oh, that's never going to happen. So then Selena, she basically, she kind of kicks down the door, and Penguin's like on the edge of it, saying, "Oh my God, it's going to blow us up!" And of course, Selena has this great thing where the room's not rigged to blow. All the stuff in the room might be.
Yeah.
The clever Selena stuff. All right, you want to take us through the rest?
Is this where we get the other boop?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Can you describe that?
Oh, she walks in.
It's more of like she's like walking, right? It's like it's more subtle. It's like she's like kind of walking. She just kind of like does it like on the way out. It's like, all right, let's do it. Boop.
Yep. All right. So Bullock. All right. So Bullock saying, "Look, partner, I can't take any more of these close calls. I don't know how much my heart can take of these. Bruce is waiting to hear back from his contacts to see if the message went through. Bruce is this is a nice bit here. Bruce is staying at the GCPD. He sends Alfred back to the apartment to grab their stuff, which, by the way, is another kind of a subtle year one reference where he and Alfred in that story, they live in a brownstone instead of Wayne Manor.
Mm-hmm.
Again, they're trying to be closer to the street crime, and I think what they're saying in Gotham, given the ending of the episode, I think that the Wayne Manor isn't within the Gotham City limits, kind of like it is in the Nolan movies, which means when the bridge is blue, that means they can't get to Wayne Manor, which is why they're in the city even more often. That's what I think. Okay, anyway. So you want to take us through this?
Gotta be honest with you, Dragon. I'm kind of hitting a brick wall in terms of energy. I'm trying to keep my caffeine intake in here. I'm sorry. I know we're like right at the very end, man. I'm trying. Can I tell you what? Why don't you build up to the Jim and Lee scene, and then I'll take it from there because that's where I am in my notes.
All right, fine. So Riddler's saying, okay, next time I get the short straw, I'm just going to walk into traffic. I'm not doing that again. So Barbara, she's suspicious of Lee coming back and everything, being all hunky-dory, and Enigma he doesn't look forward to. Again, given the fact that Enigma used to have a thing with Lee, and just that relationship be an item with her, I'm not looking forward to the touching reunion. I'm out of here.
Yeah. And again, I love how the show's like so complicated at this point that it's like, like Gordon and Babs have been together, Gordon and Lee have been together, Riddler and Lee were an item at one point in time, briefly, kind of.
Lee and Alfred were almost an item. Which is how that usually goes, by the way.
I feel like that's like just kind of a curse of like any show that stays on the air for like more than a couple seasons. It's like the characters like get very just very homogenous in their relationships.
Rachel had a thing for Joey and vice versa.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Ross,
Yeah.
and then there's that what if episode where Ross and Phoebe had a thing, but it was like a what if episode, and let's let's see. Jim, it's the beginnings of the Lee scene, I guess. Is that where you are right now, or the big moment with Lee?
Honestly, I don't. Kind of at the beginnings.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
Okay, so basically they're just kind of trying to deduce basically Gordon's like filling Lee in on what happened with the whole no man's land of it all. I guess we're not to no man's land yet, but you know what I mean. Like Gordon hadn't heard from Lee in months, so he just kind of hoped that she'd gotten out. Let's see. Lee says the last thing she remembers is Jeremiah destroying all the bridges. And then I like the genuine stakes here of Lee being shocked by the 3 months. It's just like, oh my god, like wow, I really have been out cold for a long time. That's not okay. This is not this is a problem.
Yeah, and I love the vulnerability on Jim here, where again, basically after the big mind blowing revelation, he's kind of confiding in her. Things have been stable, or basically things have been tough. That's not true. It's been hell.
Mm-hmm.
I've been putting on a brave. I've been putting, you know me. I've been putting on a brave face, but it's. I really basically pretending to know what to do, but I'm just a, me, I'm just a cop. I'm not. I'm really lost right now. So now I'm really lost. I don't know what to do. So yeah, I love the vulnerability there. Again, it's kind of a Jim Gordon in over his head, like he classically is. Just kind of a guy just trying to stay above water in a really corrupt town.
I mean, he's in over his head in a couple ways. Not just like in that position, but also also in his love life.
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there, Mister. Well, we're almost there. Before Edward, okay, so back to the aftermath of the big Haven fight. Eduardo, he's about to be, and this to me, I love this thing. I love about No Man's Land. I love that everyone's out to rob you and to take everything for you. Because basically, a guy finds what he thinks is a dead body caught on rebar. He's trying to fleece Eduardo. He's trying to steal from him. Then he's shot point blank, and we reveal Walker. So the Jamie Murray character, Teresa Walker, the lady on the radio, we see her finally.
Right.
She walks in. She says, "Oh, so much potential, but in your current state, you're not up to but you weren't up to the task." And then she reveals she's in Gotham. She didn't want to have to step foot in Gotham, but now they're burned because she reveals that okay, Bruce Wayne stuff did go through. They now know all the stuff about us. The word's out on us, which means if I'm going to basically take over Gotham, I got to do it boots on the ground. So she fixes up Eduardo, and she's going to get him all fixed up, take him to Hugo Strange, the whole shebang. And she has this great line. She says, "You won't die. You won't die yet, my warrior. So you have so much more to do." And she, Hugo Strange will fix you. And she puts on a mask, kind of the old kind of respirator mask, and of course it activates, and it presumably has venom in her, viper turned into venom, whichever. And he kind of snaps to, and he says, "Jim Gordon," just with the Bane voice. Jim, just the vanity, and he's like, "Hey," he's just saying Jim Gordon with kind of a Vader mask on. Cool.
Yeah. Fun.
Very then fun. We reveal that she reveals that she had an ace in the hole here. That Nigma wasn't alone, and I called this, by the way. I called that they were going to do something like this, where Nigma wasn't alone when they implanted the chip, and reveal that Lee. We have this eye bit with Lee, like her eyes, her pupils go all weird when she basically turns on the device.
I love that effect too. It's very creepy. Very creepy.
Yes, Walker hits a button like Nigma had with his chip, and then we see what it looks like from Lee's perspective, where the eyes kind of roll to the back of her head, or turn white for a second. It's really weird looking. Very creepy. Yes. Then Lee goes on to attack Jim, and I love this thing. I love that we just got it out of the way here. I love that we didn't spend if this were an ordinary season, we take a couple episodes before this happened.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Here we just got it out of the way. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like a one and done scene. By the same token, again, it saves us a lot of plotting. We're okay. Wait for the turn. We're nope, just gets it out of the way right now. Tries to kill him with a letter opener, and then Jim, again, really conveniently, but it's I don't know, it worked, I guess. He basically pulls a wire out and shocks her in the neck to kind of zap her back to normal.
I do like how he's just kind of like immediately comforting her after that incident. You know, he's not angry at her at all. He really gets the gravity of the situation.
Yeah. He just lets Nigma fall to the ground, but he catches Lee. That just shows you. All right, so let's see. So then Alfred. Oh, big scene with Alfred here. Big scene. I'm sure Winter Eyes is looking forward to this one. So Alfred's captured by Jeremiah. He's going to leaves the brownstone. He's walking back and he hears like a noise. And it's really creepy and very Scott Snyder-esque, and I love it. Where he looks around, there's nothing there, and just like as if he's just been creeping, like as if he was like squatting behind him. He just snuck up behind him and he injects him. And I love Tiki. This is so creepy. He injects him with a syringe, but it seems so much like a knife. At first, I thought, did he stab him? But no, he injects him. But it's so creepy the way he does it.
Mm.
And this is great. We kind of he does. This is a pull from Death of the Family, where the end of the first issue of Death of the Family is Joker. Joker. He shows up at Wayne Manor and he basically like hits Alfred and captures him. And basically for what seems to be the same purpose here. He says, in the same manner, he basically hires Alfred in that story, quote unquote, hires him to be the butler for a party. In this case, he needs Alfred and he says, wanted, butler wanted, military background preferred. So again, this is all creepy Scott Snyder stuff, and I love it.
Nice.
I have a job for you. Do I have a job for you? And again, I love the new look on Jeremiah and everything, the kind of the bluish purple coat, which is going to get more and more purple, and I love it. So he's captured Alfred, which is not good, to quote the Dark Knight. So Penguin, meanwhile, Penguin had a feeling that Magpie wouldn't get that far, and we reveal the reason for that is because he had a booby trap with his treasure, and the booby trap was just a shotgun on a string. This guy's buckshot in her stomach, just like, oh god, it's horrifying. Cool. So he's mocking Magpie there, and just she's like, basically does some sort of nursery rhyme, like, and clip the bird's wings and let her get away for another day. And he says, "Bang bang." And of course, he says, "Bang bang," just shoots her, shoots her twice. And so he says, "Geez, wasn't the buckshot in her enough?" It's just a reminder to people who try to steal from me. Basically, towing the line with Selena, saying, "Little reminder, don't double cross me." Okay, point taken.
Yeah, right.
Well, I can't wait for more of this partnership. It's great.
Yeah. Honestly, this partnership was definitely kind of the. I felt like it was like the least plot relevant storyline of the episode, but it was also the most fun.
And Tiki, again, I love the parallel here where you have Bruce and Gordon, and on the flip side you have Penguin and Selena. It's perfect.
Mm.
All right, so Jim, basically in the afternoon, here's kind of the big thing you're hyping up here. So they're figuring Walker's playing the long game, and as they're saying this, Barbara enters, and what happens?
Okay.
Barbara enters.
Oh boy. God. It's just super awkward, Dragon. It's like a soap opera type scene. But instead of like the Montoya style soap opera shit that we got in season 1, it's just like it's fun soap opera, right? It's
This
like
is something you and I never thought would they be able to get away with, given the
oh no! Can
trajectory.
you imagine if this shit went down in season 1, Dragon?
I mean, this is something I in the speculation for the season, I thought there's a chance. Like basically, when the season was starting to win us over even more on Barbara, saying, there's a chance of this happening. I don't know, but yeah, they're doing it.
Oh yeah, they're committing. They're committing.
Dickie, what's the big news?
Like the Barbara Keene in the show and Barbara and Gordon's relationship is going to be like, it's more or less going to have the same destination, right? It's more or less going to sort of like end in the same way. But my God, is the journey to get there batshit crazy.
Well, you said it. So Barbara wants to talk to Jim, and Jim's like, Barbara, now's not a good time. And then she calls back, hey, remember that big love fest we had at the end of that one episode? Then she reveals
Prager's.
She's pregnant, and here's the thing. Okay, this is not it's not a legit criticism. Just telling you that again, this is the thing with like the bumpy reintroduction is that of all the so Lee's now awake, and when she gives him a look, she kind of judges him. But I'm watching the episode. I'm thinking with that kind of that judgy look that Lee's kind of giving him. Says, you know what, Lee, you were dating the Riddler. You can't talk.
Exactly. Yeah.
You were
Exactly.
dating the Riddler, man. Yeah, and you all of season 3. All of season 3. First of all, you dated a guy. You married a man who then tried to kill you, and despite the fact that again, Jim killed that
She
guy.
loves me.
She loves me. Oh boy, just a never-ending source of bizarre comedy. But yeah, that's the thing. Just the fact that again, it never doesn't bother me the fact that again Lee was about to be murdered, and Jim warned her at every turn about this, and then Jim had to shoot the guy to save her, and she still doesn't believe it. Again, knife behind her, and like, why would he shoot him? Why would he commit murder and get away with it? Well, he had a knife. He was, I don't know, all of that stuff, and then she also dated the Riddler, and all of that is like, come on, Lee, don't give him that. Really, that's the one thing I was like, come on, Lee, really? The one thing she kind of
like under normal circumstances, it's like, yeah, you might want to, turn a nose at Jim and Barbara getting together. But considering it was obviously a one-night stand, and considering like tensions are like super high in this like wasteland apocalypse version of Gotham, cut everyone some slack. You know what I mean? Like general rules of human decency are kind of out the window at this point.
And you know what? For the PSA, if it'll also just to acknowledge it, you know what? Again, Jim Gordon, he kind of went into a little bit careless, but I got to tell you, No Man's Land, I imagine prophylactics hardly come by in No Man's Land. Valuable commodity. Mm-hmm. But, everybody's kind of miserable in No Man's Land, so why would they really seek him out? I don't get it. Anyway, point being, so Jim is the father. And we have this beautiful line that kind of punctuates the scene. Barbara just kind of comes in and says, "Jim, I'm pregnant," and just kind of walks out, and then they're all kind of taking it in. And Bullock has the perfect line, says, "Congratulations."
God.
Oh goodness! Oh wow! Again, it's finally happened, folks. And they're having a little baby, either boy or girl, but they're having a baby.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then we end with a big. So as we have some good news, we also some game changing news. We also have some big setup to the next episode, which is going to be spectacular. Alfred and Jim. Alfred comes to, and he sees Jerry. And, oh my God, he looks so great. He looks almost like the Tom King Batman. He looks great. I'm sorry, the Tom King Joker. I mean, sorry, the Jeremiah looks like the Tom King Joker. Is the way it looks right now. So the point is, he looks spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at him all creepily, and he's smiling. And Tika, I love this. The fact that this guy, the Jeremiah, opposed to Jerome, he's when he smiles, it's something truly menacing and kind of like he's thinking of something sadistic and scary. Like when he smiles, when he laughs, that's when you should be like. Again, that's what you want with the Joker. When the Joker laughs, you should crap your pants in terror. It's going to happen with Alfred here. Alfred saying, "You hurt my." I know you love this line. You want to tell him?
Yes, yeah. How do you know I love that line? I never even told you I love.
Yes, you did, but you forgot about it. Tell him.
I did tell you? Oh my God.
Yes, you did.
All right. I'm sorry. If you hurt my boy, I'm going to bite your face off. I just love how over the top that threat is, Dragon.
Again, it takes us back to the days of fish
related threats on this show. Gotta love it.
Takes us back to the days of Fish Mooney. I'm gonna kill him with my bare hands and
my teeth.
Real quick, I want to backtrack to Winter Eyes for two things. One, poor Magpie, and Winter Eyes, big fan of Magpie. Again, beware the Batman if you want more Magpie. But yeah, it's a shame they killed Magpie. But then again, as I mentioned with the whole Batman Superman thing, Magpie is a character who is slated to die, and that's the most notable thing that character ordinarily does. So. Not sure what to tell you there.
Mm-hmm.
But, the other thing, doesn't it? A great logic point that I kind of forgot to mention here. I'm so glad Winter Eyes brought it up. Doesn't it usually take a lot longer to find out if someone is pregnant? Because a day goes literally. It's been a day.
Oh, that's a great point. I didn't even think about. Yeah. That's man.
I mean, look, I don't want to bog the thing down with all the legit pregnancy questions and like when a woman knows when something's amiss.
You see, Dragon, this is where the show would have benefited from having our original pitch of like like each episode being like a certain amount of days into the future leading up to the no man's land scenario in the cold open.
I mean, the most I can get here's the thing. I'm pretty sure Winter Arrives is right on the money because that episode ended with basically okay. They sleep together at the end of episode 4, Enadora, and
Uh-huh.
then the beginning of 5 is Jim following up on the lead that she gave him.
Mhm.
She gave him the lead that the arms there. Maybe it took him a day to find that guy. So at most, I can give an extra day. But the point is, like, a day or 2 at the most has gone by.
Exactly.
And I guess Barbara. I'm gonna justify it like this. Barbara Keane. She's a woman of ritual. Where she gets in. She's a habitual nature. Where she's gonna take. She wants to check things out on a regular basis. It just happened to fall on that day where she's checking things out. Maybe just takes a random pregnancy test. We don't know what kind of active social life she has. We don't know. I don't know. That's the only logic I have. But I mean, Winter Ives is absolutely correct. It does not really. Why after 1 day, 2 days tops? How would she know?
Right.
And again, we're kind of stupid men, so we don't know everything. So anyway, but yes, anyway, so getting back to the awesome Alfred, the big setup. This is the huge setup for the next episode. So Alfred makes his threat, "I'm going to bite your face off," the whole thing, and then he says, "Oh, Bruce will be along shortly. But this place, in the meantime, this place," and he basically puts his finger over some dusty stuff. And I'm pretty sure this is Wayne Manor, by the way. I'm pretty sure they're in Wayne Manor, because he asks like, how are we here? And he says, "Oh, it's a number of tunnels," which implies to me that the tunnel system allows him to get a tunnel under the river, which means he has a tunnel system that can get into Wayne Manor, which is I'm sure is where the big showdown, at least the first half of the big showdown is going to take place.
Mm-hmm.
The point being, we now have more of an explanation why he's digging all these tunnels, specifically so we can get the locations that are going to be very important to Bruce Wayne, which I'm very much looking forward to. So this place is in desperate need of butlering, as he basically he wants Alfred to be a butler and tidy up the place, hence the hiring of Alfred Pennyworth. And he's going to use Alfred as bait, and then we have the big thing here. And basically, the next episode is going to have a big 24-hour thing based on this last line, Tiki, where he says, he so creepily, so happily says, with a giant smile and almost a laugh, choking back a laugh under his face. Here he says, "Today's the big day."
Oh yeah.
This is like the dead of morning, like all darkness in the morning. Like 24 hours is like what he has planned. Today is the day, and oh god, it's gonna be great. Yeah, that's the episode.
All right. So, Dragon, I got to be honest with you. I don't really have much in terms of spec. Do you want to just kind of like quickly just sort of round this off so my energy level, like I can actually like stay awake enough to end the show and we don't have like a catastrophe on our hands at the 0 hour?
Right. So I'll keep it brief.
All right.
All right, so the promo is this. The promo is
also, Dragon, really quick. I just want to bring up. I'm sure we announced this before, but unfortunately, folks, I'm going to be on a trip. I'm planning like a 4-day weekend trip next week, so we're not going to be able to record on Friday. We're going to most likely record and this is like, it's a shame because it's probably going to be among the biggest episodes of the season, but this is we're going to probably have to push episode 7 into the next week, most likely the Wednesday before episode 8. So, hopefully you guys don't mind too much having a little extra weight for that, but I just want to kind of, just put a pin in that, just in case. I want to make sure that people are aware of when it's coming, Dragon.
And Winter Arrives in the comments. He's asking if we've seen the Chemical Green trailer for episode 7. Now, I think that's the one I'm about to kind of recap the promo of. Winter Arrives. I think so, because even Chemical Green definitely factors into what the visuals are on that thing. So I think it's the same thing. Not entirely sure, so you tell us if it sounds familiar. Okay, so here's the promo for episode 7. So today's the most important day of your life, says Jeremiah. We have seen these cryptic shots of and clippings, like news clippings, and basically Thomas and Martha Wayne kind of walking about. So again, it's gonna be really big, heady stuff for Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And we see a shot, and this is I think is the chemical. Oh, it came out earlier today. So no, we haven't seen it Winter Rise. At least yeah, we haven't seen it yet. So we have this. Well, you can. Sorry, let me rephrase. Okay, so we have this shot of a Gordon in front of like this green toxic ooze, which I think is in the water supply. Which, as you know, Tiki, is the end of year one where someone's poisoned the water supply, and therefore I think they're doing the first big Joker story with this.
Yeah, for sure.
And Jim just it's a really great shot of Jim just standing in front of like all this green gook, which looks, I think is the poison water supply. And then we see Ace Chemicals in the showdown between Bruce and Jeremiah, and says, "It's all for you, Bruce." That's the lines they're charging at each other. It's great. So that's the promo. Okay, speculation. All right, I'm going to try to keep this brief, and as I'm sure Winter Rive's going to throw some spec our way. Okay.
And like I said, Dragon, I got nothing at this point. I'm just kind of like like an empty vessel who's here to press a button at this point in the podcast.
All right, so one I called Hugo Strange creating Bane because that's pretty much what they're kind of setting the stage for. As I mentioned, King Snake is going to Eduardo Dorance's identity, so basically Bane's father, which will lead to Proto Bane. So that's where I'm pretty sure where we're heading. And the Proto Bane in the sense of like Batman will Bruce Wayne Batman will defeat Bane's father, therefore Bane years later will go for the whole Nightfall plan of like kind of regaining, honoring his father, presumably.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so Penadoro, I hope here's what I'm hoping for. I don't know if this is going to be a guarantee because I can see them cutting this for an understandable reason. But wouldn't this be kind of neat with that Bane idea? If so, Penadoro. So we end the season. We kind of like check in with everybody. One of those like end of the last episode chats. We kind of check in with everybody before the very ending of things.
Mm-hmm.
We have a button at the end, like maybe not the final button, but like maybe I don't know if I want it to be a dot, but like one button is like see what's kind of waiting for Batman years down the line. Where we reveal young Bane in Penadora for one shot. Just reveal him so we know who he is with the bear and everything. Just kind of the son of, I don't know. It's basically the whole like young Bane in the prison. He's going to like kind of rear his head years later in Nightfall. Like perhaps it could be parallel with the birth of Jim Gordon's child, and we have like another child, the child of Eduardo Dorrance or something. I don't know. Okay, here's a big one. Okay, Barbara's going to have Jim Gordon's baby, which again, something we thought we used to think was impossible, but somehow they made it work. So they made it work. So here's the question: who do you think it's going to be? You think it's going to be James Jr., Barbara Gordon, or twins?
Oh man, honestly, my money would probably be on Jane. It's tricky. I'm of two minds about it. I don't think
The cool thing about Crazy Babs is that it makes perfect sense for what happens with James Jr. because James Jr. grew up to be a psychopath.
That's true. But yeah, I'm gonna go with James Jr.
Cool thing is if it is James Jr., it's like the last Snyder thing they've done because again, even before all the Scott Snyder Batman stuff, they had the story that got Snyder's foot in the door with Jim Gordon, which is all about James Jr. So it'd be perfect if they got it in there. Sorry, I'm speaking out a little bit on that one, but yes, but of course you always do Barbara Gordon. Like, they might go for the obvious, like kind of like a Robin John Blake sort of thing, where hey, Barbara Gordon,
Yeah, right, exactly. Fucking Robin John Blake.
All right, we had this real cryptic line from Eduardo where he said,
Robin John. It sounds like a hillbilly name, Dragon. Robin John.
Sounds like Robin Hood and it's like Robin Hood and one of his merry men's love children.
Oh God! Jesus.
Little John and John.
All right. But yes, it does sound like that. But
anyway, so it says there was a tease at Walker here. It says she's a real killer, Jim. You don't even know it. I don't know. I'm going to say this. I really hope they're not going for a Talia al Ghul thing with that again, because I think we've learned our lessons on Rises not to do that. So I really hope they don't pull that with her. I doubt it.
Having her kind of like undermine Bane at the 11th hour.
Well, that's not. I'm saying I don't want her to be specifically Talia al Ghul. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, actually, yeah. Yeah, I didn't even consider that possibility, but that'd be kind of lame. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Look, again, they sold us on Barbara having carrying Gordon's child after all this time. So I won't rule anything. I'm going to say it's going to be they're going to have to, again, they've sold us on Bane and this, so anything's possible this season, but I don't want to put money on it. That's all I'm going to say there. Okay, big one. Okay, this is the big one for the Ace Chemical of it all. Okay, so they're definitely they're blending the two stories, as I mentioned before. It's going to be Death of the Family and Endgame, where we're gonna use the plot of again, he's basically plotting this. He's going to use Alfred as bait to get Bruce, to Wayne Manor, presumably, or basically lure Bruce to a location. He's going to lure Bruce, I think, to Wayne Manor. Use him as the butler for the affair. Kind of use him to complete the family photo, as it were. Alfred Pennyworth, the butler to the Wayne family, and you have the recreations of the Wayne family, as we've set up 2 episodes ago. And again, he's trying to help Bruce heal. Now, I think next episode, I think it's the anniversary of the Wayne family's death. It doesn't have to be. I think that's specifically why he's doing it on this day. I think it's going to be the anniversary of the death of his parents. And I think he's trying to help Bruce find closure, which Death of the Family is all about, kind of him helping Batman. So I think that's what he's trying to help Bruce find closure and become Batman in doing all of this. And what he's going to try to do is at Wayne Manor, he's probably going to start Bruce off there, then walk him down Crime Alley, and try to recreate the death of his parents with these 2 imposters. So, and that's from Endgame is kind of has a scene where it somewhat recreates the Wayne murder, and again, it tries to recreate the Wayne murder in a really creepy way that the Joker kind of puts Batman through his pay. It's really scary. So, I think they're blending those 2 awesome stories together, and I think what's going to happen is that's going to fall through, and we're going to have a showdown at Ace Chemical plants. Now, the reason how I think, and this is the big one. I think the Mad Hatter is going to hypnotize those victims, these people that are made to look like Thomas and Martha Wayne, which is why they're going to be basically recreating the murders. And again, Bruce is going to foil the Mad Hatter Mad Hatter and Jeremiah recreating all this. It's going to foil that, which is going to lead to Ace Chemicals. And what I think is going to happen in Ace Chemicals is Jim and Lee are going to be kind of the fill-ins for Thomas and Martha Wayne, which would be Mad Hatter getting his.
Oh no! Oh Jesus Christ!
So that's what I think is going to happen. I think that they're gonna go there to help Bruce, and while they're there, Mad Hatter's just going to use them to kind of fill in for the roles that need to be filled now, and trying to recreate Ace Chemical, which is going to lead to the big showdown. That big showdown. Here's my call. Okay, that showdown. Jeremiah's going to fall in the vat. There's going to be an explosion because they teed up a little bit of an explosion. I think there's going to be a big explosion, which means he's going to disappear in the explosion. He's not going to find a body, not going to find anything, and we won't check in with Jeremiah till the very end of the season. I'm talking very end of the season, and as I said broadly with the Penguin, I think broad spectrum, we're going to end the show with kind of a full circle moment with the Penguin, where I think No Man's Land is going to be, everything's going to be set right in No Man's Land. And Penguin's going to have a moment where he can decide to stay in Gotham or go, and I think it's going to be a moment with Jim and Penguin on the dock. And he's basically, Penguin's going to say, "I've decided to stay." And he's going to give warning to his friend Jim Gordon that Gotham's a very different place than when we started, and I think it's going to go full circle with that dock scene. That's my big call to Penguin. So thoughts? Is all this crazy? Should I be in Arkham?
No. It's I mean it makes sense. Again, you know more about like the path that is being laid down in terms of the actual following the comic book framework than I do, but it from what you're describing, it pretty much checks out.
It might be a scene in the theater, according to Winter Eyes, which could be very interesting. So I'm loving all this. So, the point is, next episode I'm very hyped for. So Tiki, final thoughts.
Yeah, final thoughts. I mean, like I said, Dragon, like simply put, I feel like this episode of Gotham just kind of embraces all of the weird, quirky humor and offbeat moments that we've come to kind of know and love about this show in general. Like, is it the most tightly wound episode? No. Is it an episode that delivers like really profound character development and really really great kind of like arcs? Not really, but it's a lot of fun, Dragon. I had a lot of fun with this one, and I kind of love that this show is sort of just embracing its wackiness and just kind of running with it.
Yeah, I thought this episode, again, so as I mentioned, it's kind of a mixture of, again, it's celebrating. I'll admit, talking through again, I think I like it a little bit more than I did. Not that I didn't like it, but I just felt it was like, a bit of a plot episode to get to the bigger pieces. But again, there's a lot of fun. Again, especially Act 3 is where things really turn thematic and really awesome. But it's like I loved Penguin and Selena teaming up, but Magpie. Here's the thing: Magpie was, again, she was done very faithfully, and it was good. It's just I never would have called Magpie was the thing that was going to bring Penguin and Selena Kyle together. You know,
Mm-hmm.
never really would have predicted that.
Right.
I'd say
Exactly.
it wasn't executed poorly or anything. Again, like Magpie, she was on the money, but again, the whole like making explosions, the explosives that look exactly like the other, just kind of a little bit of a weird story. But it's it's fine. Again, Magpie was like kind of fun to see her kind of realizing and doing all the creepy stuff that she, doing all the the whole like bang bang shiny shiny, doing all that stuff.
God.
Again, what this episode demonstrates to me, the big takeaway for me of the episode is that it demonstrates, kind of the community bonding of No Man's Land, all these kind of eclectic characters kind of teaming up in these weird combinations, and it's great. And also we see some Bane on the horizon, and again, the big takeaway, I guess, with the kind of the Gordon of it all, it really kind of struck me about the episode is, the episode, I love what it says about Jim's mission to save Gotham, that it is attainable, and that one man can make a difference, but the world is against this one man, which means, again, as he's kind of working with other people this episode, and broadly where it's going with the whole Bruce Wayne of it all, he needs someone to salvage a broken city. He needs help to salvage a broken city. One man can't do it alone. That's what this episode kind of really spells out in a really cool way, with the whole Jim kind of losing all hope and like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And again, we kind of we're setting the stage. And again, like episodically, think about this: we set the stage for that idea, and the next episode is going to be a huge fundamental formation of Batman episode. So again, it's all coming together in the grand scheme of things. Again, I'm very much looking forward to next week. But this one was this is a solid one. No doubt. This one is a very solid one. Again, I think maybe a little better than I give it credit for, but it's a neat one. Neat.
Right.
Mid-title, but neat.
Yeah. I think the title is probably like the worst thing about it, honestly. Again, if they just dropped the 13 and just call it Stitches, it would have made a lot more sense.
They just had one line that addressed Stitches. Maybe it would have. I don't know. There's one line.
Right.
Anyway. Okay. Remember, kids, however dark and scary the world might be right now, there will be light. There will be light.
Until next time, when we go exploring Gotham yet again. You hurt my boy and I'll bite your face off.